All right, we are live. I'm ready to dance after that music. Welcome everybody. My name is John Nemo. I'm so excited that you're here. If you haven't already, I want you to follow the lead of Stan the Cartoon Man. Let us know where you're logging in from, what type of work you do, and also tell me how awesome I am. I love this. Stan, it's so great to hear that I've helped you get more clients than you'll ever know. So yes, check in the comments with us. Let us know where you're from. Neil McIntyre from Georgia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Love it. All right, John Miller was here just for the tunes. Hopefully you're staying for the rest, John. We got Pierce is in here. Woolacombe, North Devon. Where is that? Like what country? Is it Canada? All right, but you'll let me know, Pierce. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have everybody here. Again, my name is John Nemo. So excited to have you joining us today for this live training on LinkedIn messaging and how to get leads engaged. People are saying they can't see me right now. Well, that's not good. All right, let me see. Can you guys see me okay? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully people can see me. Yeah, I see. Yeah, why am I not on there? Okay. Let me see here. Tampa Executive Coaching. Okay, never mind. I'm visible again. Okay, thank God. I want to welcome Nicole on our team. Nicole is amazing. She is in charge of business development for us. She is a complete rock star. She's texting me because I can't see if things aren't working technically. Thank God, Nicole. What if they couldn't see this face? Imagine the tragedy. Listen, I knew this would come up. Thanks a lot, Jeff. If you're not familiar, I'm a huge Minnesota Vikings fan. We, in prime time, NFL football, laid an egg. We played terrible. I'm very upset. I'm very depressed, as you can tell by my demeanor. What's that, Victor the Viking? It's over? What? It's over for us? Okay. Brutal night for the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know what to say. But thank you, Jeff. Thank you for coming in from the United Kingdom to let me know about my awful team. All right, we got Texas. John Miller, welcome. We got Elise from Tampa, executive coach. Fantastic. Again, let us know where you're checking in from, what type of work you do. If you're not familiar with me, I'm going to share a little bit more about my story in a minute. But I've written several books on LinkedIn. We've got the old Standby LinkedIn Riches. By the way, you can get all of these for free on our website. So if you want any of the books for free, and I'll put this up while I'm talking about it. Let me find that. Okay. So if you want anything free, just go to nemomediagroup.com. There's a free tab. You can get this book for free, LinkedIn Riches. You can get this book for free, the Ultimate LinkedIn Profile Template. You can get this book for free, LinkedIn Lead Generation for Business Coaches and Consultants. You can get this book for free, LinkedIn Lead Gen for Franchise Consultants. You get this book for free, Mergers and Acquisitions, Client Magnet. Listen, I'm all about free. I'm all about demonstrating expertise. So again, all of that's available at nemomediagroup.com. Obviously, if you want, open another tab, go to the free, download all that stuff later. But yeah, I would love to know more about everybody who's logging in, where you're from, all that good stuff. All right, I love it. Pierce is rocking and rolling. All right, we've got John from Ohio, Best Business Coaching. All right, we got a YouTuber, Rick from Denver, Colorado. Love it. Good to see you. All right, Elise can see me. All right, fantastic. All right, who else have we got coming in? Huge Chargers fan. Anita, I'll go ahead and, Nicole, delete Anita, block her, remove her for life. Just kidding. Now, if the Chargers kicked our butt, Anita, I got nothing for you. If you're a Green Bay Packer fan, I would definitely block and delete you. That's our bitter arch rival. But anyway, we're just having fun. Oh, UK. Okay, Pierce is in the UK. I love the international audience. I had several people in Asia who were like, will you have a replay? It's going to be 1 a.m. And, what can you do? But I love it. People all over the world. Laura from Alabama. Tell us what type of work you do again, Laura. Don't hide from us. Let us know what type of work you do. Definitely want to make sure we bring tons of value and welcome everybody in. All right, we got Paul from New Brunswick, Canada. The Canadians are showing up, eh? All right. Love it. All right, again, my name is John Nemo. Super, super excited to have you here. Now, what I want to do, and obviously we'll keep the comments going, just the way that the presentation works today. I'm obviously here. I'm live. It's me in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And what I'm going to be doing is at different times hopping off camera and sharing some different training, and then I'll hop back on camera and we'll do Q&A. We've got a ton to cover today, and it's really all about how to get, cold prospects engaged on LinkedIn, how to get them over the finish line, how to get them onto a sales call. And there's a ton I want to go through. So without further ado, I want to dive in. I want to start with kind of just a little bit of my background, a little bit of my journey, in case you've never seen me before and you're like, who's this guy screaming into my computer? And how I kind of came upon what I've really found to be the best way to do LinkedIn lead gen. So without further ado, let's dive into that. If you're not familiar with my story and my background, my name is John Nemo, and I did not wake up one day as a young boy saying, I want to be a LinkedIn lead generation guy. So I want to just share the quick story of how I got here, because what I discovered about LinkedIn all the way back in 2012 when I started this crazy journey is still what works today, right now, as you watch this. Now, my situation was similar to what a lot of people have gone through, where at the time in 2012, I had a really nice, safe, six-figure day job, but I really wasn't passionate about it. I really wasn't motivated. I really wanted to scratch this entrepreneurial itch and go out on my own. And my main why, my big driving force was we had our three boys at the time, all under the age of 10 at home. And every day when I would come home from work, from the 9-to-5 job, they would mob me at the door, right? And I would just realize I was missing everything about their lives growing up. And in fact, I still have voicemails from when they would call and leave messages on my work phone about what they were doing that day.
Hi, Daddy dear. Are you having a good day? Yes. What time are you going to be home at? Bye. Are you awake? I love you, Dad. Without my heart. Bye-bye.
So yes, the heartstrings were being tugged quite a bit, and I decided I wanted to take a shot. I wanted to try to build work around my family life and not the other way around. And what I told myself was I can always go back and get another day job. I've already been in a career for a while. So I took this crazy leap. So in November 2012, get this, I quit a safe six-figure day job to go out on my own and start Nemo Media Group. I had approximately one client. I had enough money for 30 days. We had no savings at the time. It was my wife was at home with our three boys, all under the age of 10. And we had about 30 grand in credit card debt as well, because I am nothing if not a meticulous planner. So I would not recommend this, obviously. Now, obviously, I made this jump with LinkedIn in mind. That was my plan. I had one client and I have money for 30 days, but I also saw an opportunity with LinkedIn all the way back in 2012 that I didn't see others utilizing. I really saw this as an opportunity to use LinkedIn to get clients, to get leads, to win new deals, and to do it quickly without having to spend a bunch of money that I didn't have on advertising or travel or a bunch of time on networking events. And what I was able to do in my first 90 days, and here's the throwback to my first office. Literally, I had my laptop perched on a wobbly folding card table, a Super Pretzel box. By the way, the power of Super Pretzels is undefeated. This is my first office. This is where it all started. But in those first 90 days, literally using the laptop that you're looking at in that corner of our bedroom, I was able to do over $135,000 in new revenue from random prospects I found on LinkedIn. And what's really exciting is the exact method that I used all the way back in 2012, which I'm going to show you today, is still what works best on LinkedIn. That has not changed. So if you're here right now with me, you're obviously incredibly smart. Let's just start there, because you know there is such an immense opportunity on LinkedIn to find, to engage, and to sell to your ideal prospects. And I'm talking 5 to 6 figure type deals are what we see on LinkedIn with our clients all the time. My own story personally, since 2012, doing this all by myself, starting with just my laptop and the wobbly folding card table, on my own, figuring this out, I've done nearly $10 million in total sales for our agency. And even better is our clients. We've got multiple clients that have done 5 and 6 figure deals. And literally, we've had many clients that are like, I got too many clients too quickly. We've been fired, actually, for getting too much business too quickly. This is one of my favorite stories. Catherine Bishop had to tell us to turn off the campaigns. It's going too quickly. Her husband ends up quitting his job to come work for her. She's still getting leads 2 years later. We have tons and tons of examples of this, of too many clients too quickly, immediate ROI, 5, 6, 7-figure deals from, small business owners and coaches and clients. We can go on and on and on with all the different numbers. So the opportunity with LinkedIn is massive. It's obviously a great place if you're doing any sort of business to business or to B2B lead generation to get new clients, to get new deals. And I've seen it over the past decade plus change my life and my business. And more importantly, with countless different clients we've worked with, getting 5 and 6-figure deals from leads that we've generated for them on LinkedIn through our agency, through Nemo Media Group. Now, the big part of today is how. So when it comes to success with LinkedIn, all the money is in the mailbox. All of it is here in the one-on-one messaging. It's in these one-on-one conversations, one person at a time, one conversation at a time. Literally every single sale I have ever made from a lead on LinkedIn since 2012 has come from here, from the inbox. Every single client of ours over the past decade that has gotten leads and made sales from LinkedIn, every single sale has come from a one-on-one LinkedIn DM, a one-on-one LinkedIn message, a one-on-one LinkedIn email. So I can't say this loudly enough, and I'll back up and scream, but the money is in the mailbox. So we're going to focus today on a couple of key areas. Obviously, one is what goes into effective one-on-one LinkedIn messaging. And then two, once you do have someone engaged here in the inbox, how do you get them to move forward, especially if they go cold? Let's say you have a promising conversation here. What if the lead stops responding? What if you're not able to get them to the next step? How do you get them re-engaged? So we're going to now dive in and cover both, starting with the initial outreach, the initial LinkedIn DM. So let's do it. Talking about what goes into a good one-on-one LinkedIn message. I use this example. Let's say one of the clients we work a lot of times with is franchise consultants. So that's a niche audience here on LinkedIn. They use us for done-for-you LinkedIn lead generation. So what am I going to say to a franchise consultant on LinkedIn to get them to talk to me? Because we know everyone's getting inundated with messages and offers and spam and all that stuff. So first, I'll obviously build a list of franchise consultants, and then I will send literally one sentence, one line. I'll say, hey, name of consultant, can I send you a free digital copy of my book, LinkedIn Lead Gen for Franchise Consultants? And what that is I literally have an ebook I made just for franchise consultants on how they can use LinkedIn. And the whole point of this is I want to demonstrate expertise and show franchise consultants, hey, if you want to use LinkedIn to get leads, I literally wrote a book on it. Like, you can have it for free. So what I do is I literally just offer that as one sentence. Now, I don't do a bunch of personalizing in the first message. The simple reason is, and I know, a lot of people will say to you, well, listen, John, the best thing you can do on LinkedIn is go look at the person's profile and put a bunch of personal commentary in there, talk about, I see you live in Minneapolis and I see, you work here and you went to this school, and all of that is great, by the way. Talk about where I went to college and, high school and, different things I volunteered at. Those are all great, but you don't want to do that first. The reason being, if you reach out to a prospect on LinkedIn and you do all that extra work to hyper personalize your messaging and say, hey, I was looking at your profile. I see you live in Minneapolis. I see you went to this university. Do you still follow the sports team? Hey, it's really cool that you volunteer there. I do that too. I see you live here. How's the weather? All of that's great, and all of that will get people to respond to you. But what if they're not a prospect? What if they don't need your service? What if they're not looking right now? What if they don't want to buy? As my brother-in-law, who's a great salesman, taught me years ago, he's like, I don't need more friends. I need more clients, right? So you can make friends and do all that, but it's going to take so much time. So what I do, my first message is a qualifier. It is kind of generic, right? But it basically is qualifying them. Can I send you a free digital copy of this free piece of content? Or I'll say, hey, insert their name. Can I send you my best free tips on blank, which is something they would want. So my best free tips on how this target audience can get a benefit they want. So really the one sentence message that you start with is, hey, can I send you my best free tips on blank? Or can I send you this free content I've created that helps you get this outcome? You're wanting to use these messages to qualify. Think about this. If someone says yes, they're interested in the content, now I know they're a lead. Because if they're saying, yeah, I want to know more about how to use LinkedIn to get leads as a franchise consultant, guess what I do? I help franchise consultants get leads. Or if they say, yes, I am interested in tips on how to do ABC, since you provide that service behind those tips, now you know they're interested. So in this next section, we're going to talk about what do you do when someone does respond and sends you a thumbs up, or sure, send it over, or, I'll check out your webinar, or whatever it is. Once people are starting to give you that engagement and responding and you're delivering the free content, now what do you do? How do you follow up? How do you personalize, especially if these leads go cold and maybe you initially, share the content, but they don't get back to you if they like the ebook? Like, what do you do then? Like, how do you personalize this follow up to get them engaged, to get them talking to you? So we're going to dive into that next. Yeah, and I want to come back on live just for a second to make sure everybody's tracking with that first part. Now, obviously, the key is understanding all the money's in the mailbox with LinkedIn. It's not in a bunch of articles, videos, status updates, publishing content, commenting on everyone's posts. It's not in the algorithm. It's in direct one-on-one outreach, okay? And what I just kind of unveiled there in the first part of today's training is, what do you actually say to start? Because we all know when we log into LinkedIn and look at our inbox, we're just getting, inundated with messages, just like our normal email does, like our phone does. Doesn't mean the tool doesn't work, right? It's still working as good as it did in 2012, LinkedIn messages. The key is just simplifying it to that one sentence. Hey, would you be interested in my best free tips on blank? Would you be interested in my best free tips for how insert your audience can get a benefit they want? Or would you like my free ebook for this topic? So what you do is you basically offer some sort of free content, some sort of free tips, one sentence only. Let people raise their hand and qualify as a lead. Then we get into the personalizing. And so what I want to do in this next section is really dive into, what does that look like? Like, how do I actually engage someone on LinkedIn? How do I do it without being weird or creepy? Like, how do I get people to respond? Because it's real life, right? You might have someone say, sure, send over the free tips or ebook, but then they never get back to you. And so you might be sitting there going, what do I do next? And that's what we're going to talk about, because as I've learned over the years, and as we always tell our clients, the fortune is in the follow-up. So without further ado, let's dive into what to do once we've got that initial interest on LinkedIn, but maybe the conversation has kind of tailed off or gone quiet. Let's dive in now to how you get them engaged, how you personalize, and even more. Let's do it. What do you do when you've got all these different conversations, you've got all these leads going? What happens when a conversation goes cold, when a lead stops responding, when they stop engaging? So let's say, for example, I'm using Becca from our team, but let's say we had a bunch of back and forth, and let's say I sent over some content, or I sent a proposal, or I sent a video, whatever it might be, but she went quiet. Like, what do you do? How do you get someone to re-engage when these conversations have gone quiet? So I'm going to start by sharing what not to do, right? You're going to see this all the time, and we've been trained to do this is, just keep doing this. Hey, just following up, just checking back in, just bumping this back up, circling back. Those are not something you want to send. And the reason being, you're immediately signaling to the other person, oh, this is a sales conversation, or I'm desperate, or I only want money from you, something like that. I only care about myself and what I want to hear about, this proposal I sent. So there's so many better ways to get people warmed back up and re-engage. And that's what I want to cover next. So the best thing you can do is look at your prospect's profile. Now I'm going to use Joe Walsh. Him and I have been talking. He's a great guy. Get better soon, Joe. He's in the hospital right now. So everyone tell Joe, get better soon. I think he's going to watch this replay. But Joe is from Chicago, right? So Joe and I have been talking. He's going to engage us for our Done For You LinkedIn lead gen services once he's out of the hospital. Again, I can look at Joe's profile and I can pick up conversation building ideas, icebreakers, rapport builders. I can look at where he's worked, right? I've already said like where he lives in Chicago. I can look even lower and see like where his education has been, right? Where he went to school, volunteering, things he's passionate about, skills that he's worked on. I can look at what other people have said about him. I can even look at, recent posts. If he's had recent activity where he's had certain posts, I can say, hey, cool, I saw you posted about XYZ. So let me give you some real-time examples of how to do this very simply and some scripting. So let's say Joe and I have already been talking. I'm trying to get him to re-engage to respond to an ebook I sent over or something like that. I'm going to look at my own life and say, what do I know about Chicago, Illinois, where Joe lives? So I'm going to go in and have a script ready, and I'll say, my apologies, Joe. I just remembered you lived in Chicago. If you're a Bears fan, that's their football team for my international folks, the NFL, National Football League, Chicago Bears. You likely need some emotional support right now after that game, right? So again, this is a sports-related joke to get Joe going, right? Because again, even if he's not a sports fan, and I don't know that up front, I don't know if Joe's a Bears fan. I just know he lives in Chicago. But again, it's a way for me to kind of say, you know what, I'm a sports nut. I know he lives in Chicago. His football team just lost a really heartbreaking game. Even if he's not a fan, he'll write back. Because what people say when I've used this script is, if they're not a sports fan, they'll just write back and say, yeah, I'm not really a sports fan, but I saw that people were really upset about it. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. The key is to get them to re-engage. Now, in this case, when I sent Joe something like this, he immediately responded, right? He immediately responded, was like, oh, man, lifelong Bears fan here, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then he started talking trash about the Minnesota Vikings, which is not appropriate and will not be tolerated, Joe. Now, we're all of a sudden building rapport and bonding around our football teams. This is the key, right? I'm warming him back up with a non-work conversation, and it's personalized to something about Joe, where he lives, where he works. So another example could be, let's say I'm not a sports fanatic, but here's another example. I'm just going to look at my own life and say, well, what do I know about Chicago? And this is a true thing, right? I could say, hey, just thought of you, Joe. My wife was talking about summer vacation ideas last night, and Chicago came up. What would you recommend? You know, and if you haven't really done this in your life, and you're like, well, I don't want to fake this, you could just say, hey, I see you live in Chicago. I've always wondered about visiting there. If I was to come, we have 3 boys under the age of 10. What would you recommend for the full Chicago experience? Again, if I'm asking Joe, hey, I've always wanted to visit Chicago, Illinois. What would you recommend for a family of 5 or people with 3 young boys who are into science or whatever? Like, just be a human being, right? The idea is take what you relate to in your real life when you see things on someone's profile and just make conversation about that. So, hey, I see you live in this town. How do you survive the winters? Or, hey, I see you live in this town. Are you a fan of their sports teams? Hey, I see you live in this town. I've always wanted to visit. What would you recommend? Here's what my family's most interested in. People love to talk about themselves, right? Joe is no exception. We're all that way. I'm that way, by the way. If you come on LinkedIn and you look at my profile and you say, hey, I see you live in Minneapolis, St. Paul. How do you survive the winters? I would immediately write back, because that's different than 99% of the LinkedIn messages I get. If you look through my profile and started looking at, my goofy posts and things like that, and commented about something I wrote and said, oh, hey, how did your live event go? I see you had a live event, or love the story about you and your son. You're now talking my favorite language, which is all about me. You don't have to every time be like, and by the way, what about the business? Remember, they're going to see in their inbox the previous conversation. It's not like they're going to forget what we were talking about, correct? So if I just send Becca a fun message here and mention Chicago or whatever, it's not like she can't immediately scroll back up and be like, oh yeah, that's the LinkedIn guy. He sent me the ebook. He's been waiting to hear back. So again, there's lots of different ways you can do this, but the whole key is you find something on their profile that's personal, related to your life, because your life is unique, right? Would you ever want to visit Chicago? What do you know about Chicago? What could you ask someone who's from Chicago, or the school they went to, or the companies they worked at? Do you see how easy this is? So here's an example of some, copy that I would use. If somebody had posted that they just were in Florida for a work conference, again, on the LinkedIn profile, right? I can see what people have been posting about. So I can go to Becca's profile and I can look here under activity and posts and see, what has she been posting about? Did she recently travel somewhere? Did she recently win an award for work? You can just click this arrow to go through recent posts or comments or things she's, uploaded. Now, I could, again, relate that to my life. Like if she had traveled to Florida for a work conference, I could say, hey, saw your post about getting to travel to work for Florida. Given it's -13 here in Minnesota, please stand outside and tell me if the sun and heat still exist, right? Ha, ha, ha. Here's the thing. Humor's undefeated. And I write this in my book, right? Humor is undefeated. If you can make people laugh, you're always going to have an audience and you're always going to have engagement. That has never not been the case. And I know people say, oh no, my audience is too serious. I work with attorneys and lawyers and doctors and executives and CEOs. They're still human. They still like to laugh. They're still people. They still go to their kids, sporting events on Saturday morning and cheer for them. Like, they're still regular people. And the more you can do that, the more you're going to stand out on LinkedIn. Now, of course, with humor, please be careful. Like, I shouldn't have to say that, but like, if you're going to make jokes, be careful with that. So I can talk more about that later. But like, one of my big things with humor, and I'll just pull up my own profile, is I do a lot of self-deprecation, because if I can make fun of myself, then that's safe humor, because, right, I'm poking fun at my own goofiness with my fashion photos or my popcorn bucket photos. Be careful. If you're going to try to use humor, you got to be careful that it's not taken the wrong way. Here, I'm going to show you here a great example of how to use humor plus some visuals. So let's say, for example, Becca and I are in my inbox, and let's say we've been going back and forth. We've been talking about some proposals. We've, shared some ideas, and Becca has gone kind of quiet. So I've got a great script that I use. And again, I love this about LinkedIn. They realize the inbox is supposed to feel like a one-on-one text messaging thread or conversation. There's a reason you can add animated GIFs. There's a reason you can do, videos and attachments and emojis and things like that. They want it to feel conversational, because LinkedIn knows, at the end of the day, these are two human beings talking to each other one-on-one. So what I might do is, I've got a great little script here where I'm going to show you. So this is the text I have, and I'm going to use some of my favorite GIFs. Now, animated GIFs are something where, again, it's a great image that just kind of repeats itself. So one of my go-to ones is Caddyshack, where he says, "We're waiting." Here it is. Well, we're waiting, right? So if I was waiting on a proposal from Becca, I would literally say, I would send this animated GIF in her inbox. This is humor plus an animated GIF. Do you still want to talk about our done-for-you services? So I can literally send this message plus the animated GIF. So let me send that. And you can see in the inbox how it shows up, right? So Becca's going to get this funny GIF. Well, we're waiting. And then I'll say, sorry, I couldn't resist. And I might add something like, that's my favorite GIF to send when I'm waiting on something. Did you still want to talk about the proposal? If so, what would you suggest as the next step? If not, no worries. Just reply no, and I can cease my politely persistent follow-up. See, too, how I'm using emojis. I'm adding humor. I'm making it fun, lighthearted. There's another great one if you want to do the, I'm waiting. There's a great Mr. Bean. There it is, where he's just looking at his watch and he's sitting here. So like, if you put this one in, same idea. Like, you could be like, hey, Becca, this is me right now. And again, you're poking fun, you're having humor, all kidding aside, super excited to hear your thoughts on, XYZ. And then just send it, right? And again, it's a fun way to follow up. It's add emojis so they know you're joking, right? Give them those visual cues. Another great one that I love to use involves the greatest dog on earth, Rosie, right? So you can see I've got these cute pictures of Rosie the dog, who literally, this is a picture of her wanting me to take her on a walk. This is, she will come and stalk me like all good dogs do and give me the puppy dog eyes. And so I will literally, let me download this image. I'm going to show you how you can use this. And I'll say, Becca, this is what Rosie the dog does when I don't respond to her request for a walk. Should I stand vigil like this outside your LinkedIn inbox until I hear back about the proposal, right? And again, add the humor, the laughter. And then I'll click the little paperclip, and I'll upload Rosie the dog. Who can resist those puppy dog eyes, by the way, right? Cat people, you could never get away with this. So I'm going to send the image of the dog, and in her inbox, Becca's going to see this message. This is what Rosie the dog does when I don't respond to a request for a walk. Like, again, test this, right? Test humor, test it. Find what feels comfortable for you, what fits your personality. The animated GIFs are great. Again, it's just a lighthearted way to have fun. I very rarely see people get offended and upset and like, how dare you follow up, right? Again, think about the difference between that and the whole just following up, just checking back in, bumping this up, circling back. See the difference between that and then these ultra kind of personalized follow-ups where you're having fun with it, you're displaying some humor. And again, the more you can personalize this, the better results you're going to get. So another question is, hey, what if I try all these different things in the inbox? What if I'm trying all the humor and the personalized follow-up? I see you live in this town, and how do you like, this school? Or I see you posted about, shoveling your driveway. Do you need me to come over and help? Like, what if you've tried all these personal follow-ups and the person still is ghosting and you're kind of at wit's end, right? People will say, well, when should I give up? When should I stop following up? If you're at the point, now my advice on when I stop following up is when I'm dead or I get a hard no. If I get a hard no, I'll stop following up, or if I drop dead, because as you know, and as I know, the long game is what works. I've literally had people say, I'm so glad you followed up. I had a life event. I mean, I've literally had people say, thanks for your patience. There was a hurricane. Or thanks to your patience. Joe Walsh is a great example. Joe went quiet for a little bit. Turned out the guy was admitted to the hospital, right? And ended up having to get surgery and stuff. And so he wrote me back and was like, hey, I do want to move forward with the project. Sorry, I was out of pocket. I ended up having to get hospitalized for XYZ. I'll be ready in this many weeks. But it's like, you just don't know. Like, there's real life going on. So you have to just understand that sometimes following up, it's not about you, right? They have a life too. They have other things that are busy. So keep following up. But if you get to a point where you're like, listen, I've been following up for this long, I'm ready to move on with my life, I'm going to try one last time. Here's what I've seen work really good for kind of a last ditch message. And it's literally just one line that you send on LinkedIn. Have you given up on this? Have you given up on this project? Have you given up on us working together? And again, this is at a stage where you've already talked about working together. You've already offered services. You've already sent a proposal. They just haven't signed up yet. But they had once upon a time wanted to work with you, wanted to hire you. Then they just went completely ghost. You tried everything else and they never followed up. Now, the reason this works is it kind of puts the onus back on them. Have they given up? Are they going to miss out? You don't want to look like the desperate person chasing. You want to have that authority frame. And this is something I got from Chris Voss, the FBI hostage negotiator, Never Split the Difference, where he's like, just sends us one line. Have you given up on this? Or have you given up on us working together? There's another line. This is a little more blunt, and this is from a guy in my coaching group from the East Coast, but this also works out really well. He sends a message that says, are we doing this? Would appreciate a response. So some people feel like, oh, that's a little too harsh, a little too edgy, especially me being in the Midwest where we're all passive aggressive. But he's from the East Coast, and I have used this. It gets responses because it's so short. Are we doing this? Would appreciate a response. That's the key thing, is understanding how to just make it very simple and very clear. Like, hey, are we doing this or not? Like, are we moving on or not? The reality is, if someone wants to do it and they're interested, they're going to respond to that. And that's when they're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I dropped the ball on this. My kid got sick, or, oh my gosh, work blew up for the last couple of weeks. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Like, people will say, thank you for following up. Or they'll be like, actually, yeah, I'm not interested. I found a different vendor. Oh, good. Well, now I can cross you off my list and stop wasting time chasing you and personalizing. Or I might say, if I'm selling LinkedIn lead generation services, have you given up on using LinkedIn to find leads? Because again, you're kind of calling them out, but in a non-confrontational way. Have you given up? Are you moving on? And they might say, yeah, I have given up. I'm going to do search engine optimization instead, right? I'm going to use Facebook ads. But again, the idea is you're kind of just saying, are you giving up, or are we doing this? Would appreciate a response. Basically like, hey, don't leave me hanging. That's a little more aggressive. And, you don't have to do that, but it does work. Right? Would appreciate a response. Just 2 lines. So again, those are ways where at the end of the day, if you've tried everything else and you're ready to give up, those are some different scripts that you can use. All right. So I'm going to come back on live because I know we're covering a lot fast, but the whole kind of emphasis of that training, that section, is really understanding it's about being a human being, right? So once you get that initial yes from the 1-sentence message, would you like my best free tips on blank? And you deliver the content. If you don't immediately have a bunch of engagement that leads to the next step in your process, a sales call, whatever, and you need to kind of find ways to follow up. The real kind of guiding principle here is be human. The default should be, how would I talk to this person if we were sitting across each other at lunch or at a coffee? Like, what would I ask them? I know they're from Chicago. I know they have 3 kids. I saw they posted they just did a work trip to Florida. Like, that's the human part that 99.9% of people do not do to this day on LinkedIn. They still just do the generic, circling back, bumping this up, or worse, they use AI and it's just robotic, spammy pitching. Let's find 15 minutes to meet, blah, blah, blah. So that's a key thing. And I want to also emphasize this because I've got more. If you want our help doing this, we've got a few spots left right now in this quarter for our done for you services. So if you want to learn more about it, there's no obligation, there's no drama involved. Just comment DFY in the comments, wherever you're watching this from, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever. And Nicole or myself or someone on our team will follow up with you just about to learn more about your situation. Basically, the idea is if you want our help doing all this, we do it all. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there. So if you want our help doing this for you, getting you leads on LinkedIn, getting you clients, doing this nuanced messaging, the outreach, all that, just comment DFY. And then the other thing I want to know, I want to make sure that this is resonating with everybody that's on live. So I've got more tips here. I've got some really nuanced tips I want to share, but I want to make sure that this is resonating. So type in the comments more. If you want more, I need to know. I'm very insecure, just like Victor the Viking, insecure Viking fan. I'm very, beaten down right now. I need a little validation that this is helpful. So if you want more, put in the comments more, because I want to know that we're on the right track here, that we've got the right approach, that this is resonating. Because honestly, if you can figure out how to master LinkedIn messaging, you're going to make your life so much easier. You're never going to run out of leads. You're never going to run out of clients. You're never going to have to be waiting around for the phone to ring. This is the secret sauce. This is, what I'm trying to share today is really the psychology and the systems that really use all of these principles that I've learned for the last 12 years. All right, so we got some comments coming in. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so Mike says he was interested in the done for you. So we'll follow up with you, Mike, for sure. Okay, all is okay. Yes, yes, yes. All right, John wants more. Glory. All right, John, you're getting more, John. You got it, buddy. Mike wants more. Glory. Look at this comment. Look at Pierce. I've been using your secrets for the last 3 weeks. How about this for social proof, by the way? And Pierce is not a plant. I didn't pay you to say this. I've been using this secrets for 3 weeks. 108 people have asked for your asset. Holy cow, dude. It's amazing. Now you have the training today, Pierce, to go and follow up with all of them. That's incredible. It's incredible, incredible, incredible. I love this. All right, Jeff wants more. He's covering his eyes. What's happening? You're on fire. Like Jameer Gibbs. That's enough, Elise. That's enough. Victor will not take Detroit Lions slander lying down. We're going to get destroyed by the Lions. We're playing you guys, I think, on November 2nd. Gibbs may run for like 500 yards. I'm not even kidding. We're hopeless. But I appreciate that. No, the 49ers. Come on, Jeff. Keep it clean. All right. You guys are awesome. All right. So again, a couple of things. If you want our help, put DFY in the comments. Okay. As we're at any point, we'll follow up with you once the live session is done. And if you're enjoying this, put more in the comments. We'll keep the training coming. I've got one more section I want to go to, and then we'll do a live Q&A because I know there were some questions. And so hang out for that. But this next section, I want to talk about the power of what you have in the palm of your hand. So when it comes to following up on LinkedIn, really getting to next level kind of ninja tactics with getting leads engaged. There's some great stuff. And I'm actually going to hop off camera and show you on my phone how to do this with the LinkedIn mobile app. So let's do that. It's John Nemo. Super excited to show you some ways here on LinkedIn where literally you can put yourself in the palm of your prospect's hand. And it all has to do with the LinkedIn messaging, the inbox. So I'm going to use Becca Arco, an amazing member of our team here, as my guinea pig. I want to show you some different ways that you can actually do some personalized messaging. So let's say you go to the LinkedIn profile or the page of the person you want to talk to, and then you just click on message. Now at the very bottom, you see the little paper clip next to where it says write a message. Click that little paper clip to the left or tap on it. This is where you can get really creative. You can actually send a selfie video. So one of my favorite things to do, take a photo or video, and actually this will show the outside of the house here, but let me turn it around. Oh, baby. Hey, listen, the camera adds 10 pounds. In my case, it adds about 50. Just remember that. All right, let me get a good background here. We got the LinkedIn license plate. So one of the cool things you can do is I can actually use this feature on LinkedIn. Let me close this out to send Becca a selfie video. So again, where it says write a message in the LinkedIn inbox for Becca, click the little paperclip icon, tap on take a photo or video. Now you can open your photo library. So if you already have videos done, previously, you can do that. I'm going to actually turn around the camera and do a selfie video in real time for Becca. So this is what I would do with a prospect who's already engaged and interested on LinkedIn. I would send them a video, something like this. And let me make sure. Okay, so video. Okay, I had on photo. So now I have it on video. So see at the bottom, you can toggle between video and photo. And then I would just hit the video button and you can send the prospect, a direct one-on-one selfie video. So here we go. Hey, Becca, it's John Nemo. I thought I would put a face with the name. Do you ever use this feature in LinkedIn? It's super cool. Oh, there's my LinkedIn license plate. I know you need to see my credentials. Super excited about the ebook I sent over. I think it'll be perfect for you. It's exactly kind of what you've been looking for, what we talked about in our messages. So make sure you have a look at it. If you have any questions, I'm here, happy to chat more. I got my more cowbell t-shirt on for you. So I'm ready to have a good Friday. I hope you are too. And be well. We'll talk soon about the ebook. And now you can actually review the video on LinkedIn, and if it all looks good, you just tap that blue send button in the top right corner, and it will send the video over. It's actually going to fire, you can see right into Becca's inbox, a selfie video. So you literally can do this with any prospect on LinkedIn through this one-on-one inbox, which is amazing. Now, if you're the type who is not about to do a selfie video, you don't feel comfortable with that, that's totally fine. You can see in the bottom right corner next to write a message, there's a little microphone. So if you tap that, you can see where it says hold to record, and you can literally, send a voice memo. This is a direct audio that would go straight to Becca. So if I didn't want to do a selfie video, I could still do this. I could tap this microphone, hold it, and record it, a simple voice message. So it could be something like this. Hey, Becca, it's John Nemo. Not sure if you use any of these new features on LinkedIn. I love doing this, voice memos, videos. Anyway, super excited to hear your thoughts on the ebook. Yeah, and I was looking at your profile, and a couple things that really stood out to me are X, Y, and Z, which I would mention about her. Also, I see you live in Minnesota. That's so cool. I hope you're enjoying the land of 10,000 lakes. And anyway, excited to hear more about your thoughts on the ebook, and we'll go from there and talk more soon. And then if I let go of it now, it automatically sends it. That's the idea with that. Just make sure you practice it with someone that you're comfortable with. You can see above this where it says the message has been deleted. I actually sent Becca an audio memo I wasn't ready to do. So you're able to delete it. So if you hold on it, you can just click delete and it'll go away. So that's, you can delete the message. The other person's not going to see it if you do it right away. So those are two amazing things that you can do right here. Again, with the microphone, just hold the microphone down, slide away if you don't want to use it, or click the paperclip. You can go in here, and again, you can click tap, photo or video. You can send a photo. So if you're like, hey, just thinking of you, I'm at this conference or whatever, hey, do a little selfie photo or a photo of people, or you can do the whole video thing and show them, I can show you around my office, whatever it might be, or, a selfie video, which is what I would suggest. And then again, you just hold it, record it. There's other great options in here as well. If you click the paperclip, which I'll show more later, but you can send animated GIFs, right? So you can do all kinds of fun things with that. Again, the whole key here is personalizing it. And when you're in the LinkedIn mobile app, the two most powerful things that work the best when you're communicating with fellow human beings are when they see our face, right? See my face, my expressions, my sense of humor, what I'm wearing, that's more powerful than text. So ideally, if you can do a video message like this, send it. You have to do it to 100 people a day. Pick people that are already interested in you, already engaged, already talking, they're already a lead, and you're just trying to follow up and get them, to respond to a proposal or a piece of content or whatever. this is a novelty thing too. They're not getting a bunch of selfie videos in their inbox. So if I close this, see how this stands out? So you have the text like here above. I was, testing out a GIF with Becca. I'll share that later if I haven't already. But again, you can see this video, the curiosity factor. Becca's going to go, what's this? Why is John Nemo standing in my inbox with a more cowbell t-shirt, right? And again, you can add some text to it and say, Becca made you a quick video with some thoughts, and then hit send. So you can have that ready to go. So you can have text to go, or made you a quick audio. Like I would suggest you put a little text in below the audio or the video. But again, that's an amazing, amazing way to stand out from this sea of sameness in your LinkedIn inbox, in your messaging inbox. And the best thing of all is you can just look at the prospect's profile and look for things to mention. So, oh, I see you worked here. I see you worked there. I see you went to school here, or you live there. And again, it's just an amazing way to really bridge that gap and create that, that one-on-one rapport, the know, the like, the trust. All right. And I'm coming back in live. Man, I hope you're finding this helpful. Like, I hope you're seeing like all the opportunities we have with the mobile device. And the key thing is just understanding, be selective about who you use it with, where you use it, when you use it, because again, that's the key thing is you don't have to do this at a huge scale. It's really with a lead where you're like, I'm just trying to get them over the finish line. I'm trying to get them to engage, to book a call. That's where you try things like the selfie video, the voice memo, the animated GIF. These are incredible things. So now we've got time. I want to do a little bit of Q&A. So if you've got questions, just fire away in the comments and I can answer them here live. That's the benefit of showing up live, right? Is you can pick my brain here. If you want our help, we obviously, if you're not aware, I run a full service agency, Nemo Media Group. We have a team of 20 people. We do done for you LinkedIn lead generation. So if this is resonating, if you're like, yeah, I love this approach, but I don't want to do it all, then just comment DFY. Just put that in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, LinkedIn. We will reach out to you. We basically just start a quick conversation, try to figure out if we can help you, and then kind of go from there. There's no obligation. There's no drama. There's no hard sell, stuff like that. I mean, we're very selective about who we work with, but I know that the opportunity on LinkedIn is so big and so massive. Like we literally had another client this week, a business coach, and I'm going to be doing a case study about her in a minute, who basically was like, turn it off. I got too many leads. Like she got something like, I think 18 calls booked in a week and they were all hyper qualified. And she's like, we need to pause the outreach. Like I can't handle all this volume. Like these are the best problems ever. Right. And it's because we are using this approach for our clients that I'm modeling here, where it's personalized, it's one-on-one, it's human, it's taking our clients' unique personality, communication style, the way that they, come across, putting that through LinkedIn. And that's where the connection is, especially now in the age of AI and all the, fakery and, kind of scripted things like that, all the generic templates. Being a human really works, right? Because at the end of the day, you're still going with human beings. All right. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. All right. I got a few questions coming in. People want more. Stan wants more. Of course you do, Stan. I love it. I love it. I love it. Bill wants more. Glory. All right. I know there was a good question earlier. I'm going to go back up to it. I think it was Greg had it. Let me see if I can find it. Because it was about how do you manage all the conversations? Yeah, here it is. So again, if you want our help, comment DFY in the comments. We'll get in touch with you about our services and see if it's a fit. But actually, no, it wasn't Pierce. Let me find Greg. Okay, here it is. So Greg was saying, do you have a CRM to manage your leads? If so, what program? So let me explain how our agency at least manages all these conversations on LinkedIn, because again, you saw all these conversations today, and then it's like, okay, well, how do you manage all these? How do you stay on track of all of it? So let me actually show you a little bit of that with some screen sharing. So let me make sure. Okay. Oh gosh, I haven't done this for a little bit. So let me go in. I'm going to share my screen. All right. And hopefully this works. Okay. I'm going to share a tab. It's our engagement tracker. So what this is this is basically something that we create for our clients, where we literally go through every single conversation. So what's the person's name? What was the message that they replied to? So we have a drop down of all the messages. hey, what were they interested in? So we can track all this data, right? Because we can see what message were they interested in, what's their name, and then let me zoom back out because, again, otherwise it'll be too hard to see everything. What's the campaign name that they were in, like what type of prospect? Did we offer a call? Did we get a call booked? Did they fill out the next form in our client's step? Did we follow up with them? So these are all time-stamped follow-ups of making sure that they took the next step in the messaging sequence. And then basically this is a great way, if you're not doing it already, to kind of this is just in Google Sheets, where you basically can come in, you can have the name of the person, first name, last name, their message that they responded to. This is, again, us being super detailed, because when we work with clients, we have all these dashboards and tracking and what's working and what's not working. So this is kind of under the hood with Nemo Media Group. And then when they book calls, right, it's very detailed in terms of, hey, here's the person, here was the call. Are they moving forward? Did we send a form? Are they, where are they at in the process? So it's a very detailed process. Even when we do LinkedIn Lives for clients, who's showing up, who got reminded, who's attending. But that's the idea, to answer your question, Greg, is I like to build and have our team build something in Google Sheets, because, again, you can take all this information, especially if you're pulling people's emails and phone numbers. So if I zoom in there, you can see, I can't go over there, but yeah, emails, phone numbers, LinkedIn profiles. You can move all that into a full CRM. So if you're using like HubSpot or Zapier, the tool to move it all is called Zapier, right? But again, I'll stop sharing and get back on camera here. But that's the idea, is create a Google Sheet, put in the details of each LinkedIn conversation. You can then easily, integrate those with a tool called Zapier, or similar with your HubSpot if you want to send emails through it, or texts or whatever, right? Because LinkedIn will have a lot of the data on each person. And once someone raises their hand to that initial first message, hey, would you like my free book on blank or my free tips on blank? Once they raise their hand to this, now they're a lead. So now you can follow up with LinkedIn messages and maybe send some emails or whatever it is, or call them, right? If you've got their phone number, hey, I just thought if it's easier just to give you a call about the book, was it helpful? Want to know your thoughts. Because again, conversations are what lead to conversions. Conversations are what is going to lead to conversions. And that's why one-on-one LinkedIn messaging works so well, because you're having a conversation that is headed toward a conversion. And it's either yes or no, right? And if they say no, that's fine. You can move on with your life. All right, so let me see. Okay, so we've got, and I'm doing these live, so let's see. Kelton says, I'm considering your help. Okay, well, consider away, my friend. Here's my question. What if my business model is obtaining leads from bankers, CPAs, and attorneys? I do not know how to make an ebook that would be relative to their interest. So, yeah, so depending on what it is. So if your goal, Kelton, is I need to get bankers, CPAs, and attorneys on LinkedIn to bring me business, I'm going to, part of what we do, obviously, at our agency with every client is, what's the strategy, right? We have a custom LinkedIn lead generation strategy plan. So I would need to know more about like what you're selling them, why they would give you the lead and what you're selling to the person that they refer. So if I'm a banker, a CPA, or attorney, what's in it for me, Kelton, if I refer you business? What are you selling? Is it insurance? Is it, real estate? Like what do I get out of it? And what's the benefit to me? And then what problem do you solve for me as a banker, a CPA, or attorney? So I would start by asking you those things in our, intake interview. And then I would figure out how to reverse engineer that content. So, if you're able to say to me, John, the problem I solve for bankers, attorneys, and CPAs is I help their clients blank. I help their clients get XYZ because that's an issue for all their clients. Great. Now we can make some content for them. Whether it doesn't have to be an ebook, that's what I see work best as an ebook, but it could be a how-to video, a walkthrough video, a LinkedIn Live, something where you're saying, hey, if you're a banker, CPA, or attorney, and you have this challenge with your current clients who have to get ABC accomplished, we help there. Let me show you how it works and some examples of, whatever that might be. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Great question, Kelton. Pierce says, brilliant thing. Can I frame this and give it to my wife? Right. And then she gets so tired of my act. She bought me this. She's like, all right, I get it. You think you're kind of a big deal. I love Sarah. She's like, here, put this on your desk. I'm tired of listening to you. So, all right. I love it. All right. John has a question. Will the audio message follow after asking them, I see you live in, or yeah. So it can be in any order, John. Like it doesn't have to be, you don't have to like start with a certain sequence. Like if somebody says they're interested in your book and you want to follow up with a video message right away, do it. Like I would say test everything, right? And the difference is just the time involved and if you feel comfortable doing the video and the audio, right? So there's no right or wrong way as far as like first talk about where they live and then ask about their sports team and then do a selfie video. Like, no, you can do any order you want. Again, what's comfortable for you? What's natural for you? Are you good, quick on your feet with selfie videos? Do you like doing the little voice memos? And then if you're tracking everything, like I showed in that, Google Sheet, you'll see like what people respond to. Maybe for John and his niche, voice memos work much better than videos, or maybe text messages with a GIF work better. Like you'll learn as you do the follow-up. And the beautiful thing is, you can try different methods. So maybe this week you do a selfie video. If they don't reply to that, next week you just do a text-based message about where they live. The week after that, you do a voice memo, right? Until, again, the fortune's in the follow-up. And you have to remember, I had this happen with a new client last week where, we actually went through a whole process where we had a sales call. They said they're ready to start, and then they just went dark, right? And we didn't get the paperwork signed, and I didn't know what happened. And I followed up politely, right, for about 6 weeks because I either stop following up when I'm dead or, whatever. And they eventually came back and were like, oh, sorry, you know what? I got totally sidetracked. I had a deal I was trying to get closed to acquire my company that took up all my time. Now that that's resolved, I do want to get going on this project, but I want to change a few things. And so we were able to move forward. But because I kept the communication open with fun, personality-based kind of follow-up, that wasn't, accusing them and it wasn't generic, but it was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll stay on the radar. It worked out. So again, all right, Greg says, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Pierce is saying, I need some very specific help around messaging. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, we can definitely help with that. I mean, it really comes down to understanding your target audience and understanding what's going to move the needle for them, what their biggest pain is, but we can talk more about that. Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right. And then Paul has a question. How big does an ebook have to be? So if you're going to do an ebook, and again, I could talk about this a little bit more, but really, and actually I'll show some examples. Let me pull that up while I'm talking. An ebook, a good ebook, I would say 3,000 to 5,000 words. So let me show some examples of what those look like for those that are on the live call here. I'll pull that up real quick because that'll be easier to see. So share screen. We'll do that. Okay. So these are some examples of ebooks that we've done for clients. This is a great one of a current client where, again, it's a 3,000 to 5,000 word PDF that's designed and it's images of you, right? This is a great couple, Chelsea and Patrick, I believe. And basically they do franchise consulting. So they help others who want to like pivot out of their corporate job, explore franchise ownership, right? And so they're telling their story. A good ebook is 50% your story. And they really made this decision. They love hiking in Arizona, in Sedona, where the rocks are red and it's just beautiful. So you can see a lot of the photos are of Sedona, right? And sharing their story. So a good ebook, this one's about 9 pages, 50% their story, their journey, and then 50% frameworks, insights, ideas. How do you pick a franchise? What goes into it, right? But again, they're sharing both who they are and what drives them and what they're all about, and tips, ideas, strategies, and frameworks. That's really what goes into a good ebook. And again, doing great writing, great storytelling. These are all ebooks that we've written for clients. Carrie Ann Golliver were the first line of the ebook, and again, this is not your typical ebook of here's 3 tips. It's literally starting like a movie scene. I figured my brother-in-law had too much wine during dinner and said the phrase he blurted out changed my life. Whoa! Like now you're hooked. Now you want to know what happened. What did he say? I'm not going to tell you. You have to read the book, right? But again, that's what we do with these ebooks is, again, it's a personalized approach to really help people understand who you are, what your story is. Here's another great one of a former client where from 2000 to 2 billion. Wait, what? This was about real estate investing. And we start with a story. It was terrifying. My hands were literally shaking. Wait, what? Largest wire transfer of my life. I only had $2,000 left to my name. I'm feeling sick. And now, $2 billion later, here's the lessons learned. So it's 50% the story and who I am and, how I got here. And then 50% the frameworks, the insights, the tips. We've done this for so many different clients, but that's really the idea here, is putting together content that is 50% your story, so people get to know, like, and trust you as a person, so authentic photos, and then 50% frameworks, insights, strategies, case studies, tips, so that people understand, oh, okay, this applies to me. It makes sense. All right. And Mike is saying, let's discuss how we can work together. He's putting his phone number in the comments. I love it. We'll definitely reach out to you, Mike. Yes, we will definitely get a hold of you. I love it. I love when people put their phone number in the comments. I feel like I feel pretty cool. That's awesome. Thanks, man. Don't everyone call Mike, by the way. All right. So, Elise says, thank you. That was helpful. I love it. All right. So who else has questions? Oh, someone's late. Okay. Don't worry. We'll have a replay. People are saying very helpful. Again, if you want our help, if you found all this helpful, just comment DFY in the comments, and either Nicole or myself or someone else on our team will reach out to you. We basically have a very simple process that we start with just a quick online form. It takes like 60 to 90 seconds. Learn more about you, your business, your current situation. Once we see that form, and I read every single one, Nicole and I go through them. If we think we can help you or it's worth a live conversation, then we'll, offer you a time to talk live. It'll be with me one-on-one. And then we'll basically go through your situation and see, hey, do I think we can help you? And then also, would you be a good fit for us? And all that. So there's definitely, we're very selective about who we take on as clients for the done for you level. So I want to be clear about that. We only work with about 30 clients right now, and then we have a team of 20, because everything we do is so custom and so hands-on, just like what I've been showing you today. It's not about, generic templates and overseas VAs and just spamming people. It's very targeted and nuanced, because we know conversations are what lead to conversions. So the one-on-one messaging, which we've really covered in depth today, the one-on-one messaging is what leads to the conversations that lead to the conversions for you. So whether you do this on your own, whether you want to explore having us help you, we're definitely here, and we definitely would love to talk with you. All right. So Kelton is saying, done for you. Fantastic. We will reach out, my friend. I love it. Nicole also shared a link. If you want to go straight to the forum to explore having a one-on-one call with me, just click that link in the LinkedIn comments, or if it's on YouTube as well, I'm not sure. But that's our type form. It's super easy. It takes about 90 seconds. Ken says, very helpful. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate you. All right. This is what I want to do. So again, if you want to learn more about how we can help, go and just type in DFY. All right. Laura's putting that in as well. Glory. All right. I love it. If you want more tips or more information about the company, what we do, how we help people, just go to nemomediagroup.com. There's tons more on there. All these books are on there for free. So like, you can get my whole library. If you want to have a, killer template, if you're a franchise consultant, you want a book just for you. This is the main book, LinkedIn Riches, all revised and updated. Everything I talked about today, all the messaging, all the scripts is in there. We've got, if you're in mergers and acquisitions, I wrote a book for that. We've got one for business coaches and consultants. These are all available on Amazon too, obviously, as paperbacks. If you want the free digital copy or audiobook copy, just go to nemomediagroup.com and you can download them all on the free tab. Otherwise, just put in DFY in the comments. We can definitely reach out to you and see if we think, we might be able to help you with that. And yes, Paul, I love this. All right, I'm framing this one too for my wife. They like me, Sarah. They like me. All right, I love it. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Again, really look forward to hearing from those of you that want to explore the done for you help. If you want any free resources, Nicole also just put a link in nemomediagroup.com. Click on the free button, the free tab. We can definitely get you all the resources you need. This is the thing. If you take away a couple key things from today's session. One is the money's in the mailbox. It's in one-on-one conversations. Two is just be a human. Showcase your personality, your sense of humor. How would you talk to someone in real life based on what you know about them, where they live, where they went to school? Three is use those short things, the sense of humor, the GIF. Try some of the personalized video and audio. And then the final piece is really remembering, when it comes to getting leads from LinkedIn, the clients that we see doing 5 and 6 figure deals, it's a conversation that leads to a conversion. Like you cannot skip that. You still have to talk to someone, especially if you're selling a 5 or 6 or 7 figure type engagement. It's a conversation that will lead to the conversion. So I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Mike says, that's awesome. We'll go download the whole library. Go for it, buddy. I love it. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to stop the live stream for now. The replay should be back up right here on LinkedIn. It usually immediately posts. So whatever link you use to access today's training from LinkedIn or YouTube, just go back to that link. And in a couple of minutes, it'll have the whole thing from today as a replay. You can rewind, fast forward, all that stuff. Oh, yeah. And I do have a podcast too. Thank you. Thank you. It's called the LinkedIn Riches Podcast. John Miller, you're so nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Just search LinkedIn Riches in your favorite podcast app. I have a podcast on there. If you can't get enough of me laughing and yelling, there's also tons of episodes there. So, all right. Appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are the best. We'll see you soon and go from there. Thanks.